Hello guys, once again, it's Matt, and today we're going to take a look. We are straight into the action, but we're going to take a look at BVR missiles again. Make sure to subscribe and click the like button. Leave it in the comments what else you want to see on War Thunder. But we are going to see a couple of various matches that I made using some tactics using BVR. So basically the idea here is that BVR is, it's more useful than IR missiles right now because of the flare buff. So as you're going to see, we get more kills with the... I didn't show a lot of tries actually using IR missiles, but the idea is that the radar missiles are better than IR missiles right now in usefulness. So here we are shooting at, I think it's a mix 27, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, an F-104. But as you see, the idea here is you have to keep this in mind, but it's a tactic that I'm using in all the aircraft that I fly. Basically it's just side climb, get a little bit of speed. This aircraft climb a lot, but get a lot of speed, side climb a little bit, and climb to 5,000 meters in general. Try to keep the speed up, engage the target, then turn away, of course. There's a name for this type of tactic, but I don't remember exactly. But you just kinda do a boom and zoom tactic sometimes. If you get in a good position, you just face the enemy, but the idea here is that, as you saw before, is to actually lock the target at pass 10 kilometers. So if you see the abilities, the crew skills, if you take a look at the crew skills of each aircraft that you fly, you're going to see that there is a thing there that even if you put it in ace, if you buy it the ace or grind it out the ace, or anything else that you do, you're going to have a max range of... that was kind of a weird one. It changed the lock for a chef for no reason, for another aircraft. But the idea here is that the missile will not be seen by the enemy if you launch it past 10 kilometers. There's no way to him to see the launch, okay? So if the missile is burning past 10 kilometers, if you are approaching somebody, of course the target will see you, but if you fire the missile and the missile burn out before the 10 kilometers, they will not see the missile coming. So as you saw in the beginning of the video, the F-104 just did not see the missile. You're going to see a lot of situations like that. So the idea is to side climb to 5,000 meters, maintain a high amount of speed, lock one of the enemies for 20 kilometers, maybe 15 kilometers, and then just fire the missile at 13 kilometers. The R-24 you can even fire from more far away than that, so I got kills from 18, 19 kilometers, because the missile has a little bit more energy because of the burn time, but you end up getting a lot of kills doing that, okay? So this is the main tactic that I use, and try to, of course, think about the engagement as you just firing missiles. You're not trying to do head-ons, you're not trying to die, you're not trying to be the hero and kill everybody. You're going to try to kill people from far away, and as far away as possible, you know. So the idea here is to fire the missile. If there is a lot of enemies there, just turn away, notch, always notch. The idea when you're climbing, I forgot to tell you guys, is that when you're at 5 kilometers locking somebody, once you fire the missile, you just notch, okay? Always notch. So I had the clip on the F4E. Now we have a clip of the F104S, the Italian one. Some people like to use it with 6 AIM-9Js and the cannon, because the cannon is always a little bit more useful. But the sparrows, in this battle, for example, I got 3 kills, but 2 of them were with the sparrows, both the sparrows that I carried. So normally I like to use these type of missiles instead of the cannon or the missiles or the IR missiles, just because they're a little bit more reliable now. I made a video if you want to check it out. I made a video on the differences after the last patch that I had. So explaining everything. So yeah, take a look. But as you see, I fired the missile and I tried to notch a little bit, but here we are in a kind of a low tier battle. So you're probably not gonna be facing other BVRs. The idea of notching is to actually make the enemy's BVR missile lose energy while you're still tracking the enemy. So yeah, as you see, you're going to take a look at the right side on the radar. I try to always notch, but maintain the radar lock on the target to get the hit. So as you see, both easy kills, a Harrier and a A5 with this barrel. Especially at this BR, I did not see that MiG-19 coming, but especially at this BR, you get a lot of kills with BVR missiles because just people are not expecting it. And if you fire them at past 10 kilometers, they're not going to see it. Of course, here we have the top dog of top tier, one of the top dogs, the MiG-23 MLD. So it has one of the best, if not the best missile in top tier BVR wise. So as you're going to see in a bit, the idea here is the same. As always, I try to use this even in low tier type of aircraft like the F3H and the F4C. I try to use this tactic. Normally when you are at low tiers, you're not going to see a lot of people flying high, but still. And of course, remember the last 3 aircraft that I showed, they do not have pulse Doppler. So people complain a lot about the F4E not having pulse Doppler, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, it helps a lot having the pulse Doppler, as you're going to see in the next clip on the F4M, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. So here we had, I think it was 2 or 3 aircraft flying nearby me and the other MiG-23. And as you're going to see, I'm trying to lock it with the look down mode past 10 kilometers, and the aircraft will not see you firing. He actually saw the other MiG on the radar and was shooting at the other enemy and my friendly aircraft. But my missile got to the aircraft before his missile got to the MiG-23. So I kind of saved the MiG-23 probably. I didn't know if it was going to hit, but as you saw, the F4 did not see the R-24 on the air, and basically did not see me anyway. So try to fire this type of missile from far away. I mean, they have a little bit of a turning, a very good turning rate, 24, 25 Gs. So they can change a lot of directions simultaneously. So they are 24 and the E2 or the sky flashes, they can change the direction very quickly, so that way you can actually fire from close and nearby. But I still advise you guys to fire away as far as possible, at least in the beginning of the match, while everybody is trying to climb and stuff. So here we have another example of a problem with depending on the aircraft that you have. So I mean, the radar of the MiG is pretty amazing, but I was not being able to lock this aircraft because the radar was not seeing him. Actually, he was trying to lock a chef, but it was probably because of the size of the F5. So of course we have a cross section in any aircraft, and of course the radar tries to lock this, as you see nearby shooting, and the missile hits as well. So even a near shot helps, but normally I advise you guys to fire from far away. So the radar itself needs a big enough cross section of the aircraft to actually lock it. So small aircraft like the F5 or I mean F-104s, for example, some aircraft like that, they're kind of hard to lock from far away, but the large aircraft are the most dangerous. So here we have, of course, the F4M with the pulse Doppler. Of course, as you're going to see, it helps a lot. I'm looking down. This was not completely possible with the MiG-23 and the F4E, and you get a lot more kills with it. So yeah, the idea here is that aircraft that has the pulse Doppler will have an advantage. but it's not the end of the world. So the idea here is the same as I was showing on the F4E and the MiG-23. So I shot the missile, notched a little bit, maintained the lock, looking at the radar on the right side of the screen. Once the missile hit the target, I just fly away, especially because I noticed that there were a couple of aircraft following me. So yeah, I found another aircraft here, another MiG, but I was not fast enough to actually lock it. So yeah, but still, the idea here is to maintain the speed, maintain the missiles flying, and just try to not get into furballs, okay? Of course, I'm showing aircraft that are fast and not turn well, even though the MLD is a very good turn dogfighter with the wings open. The F4, the F104, any aircraft that has BVR, normally they're not the best turning. So if you have an aircraft like the F5 or the MiG-21, you have to kind of bring this type of aircraft to a dogfight. But if you are flying them, just try to use them as a BVR machine before you try to use them as a dogfighter. Okay, so I lost the lock there. And of course the pulse Doppler has a problem with a couple of targets moving. Yeah, never do that. Just don't fire you have to evade the missile as well. Don't just fire the flares and stay with afterburning, like just running. I had a kind of a bug in here with the radar. It was trying to lock nothing. I think it was the chaff that bugged. Look at that. It's kind of weird, but yeah. But with the bug, I mean, I don't know, man. Even the R60Ms, the flares are so OP right now that I prefer to use radar missiles always. So yeah, I mean the R60 is not as great because of the flares. The AIM-9Js and Gs are not as good. As you're going to see now, I'm on defensive, and they shoot a lot of missiles at me. A lot of missiles. The J7 and the MiG-23 was shooting a lot of missiles, and I was evading every single one of them basically. So you have to think about that. It's just that learn how to use the missiles. I see a lot of American main players not knowing how to evade BVR missiles, and I see a lot of Russian players, main players, not knowing how to use the BVR missiles, the radar ones. So I see a lot of people using the R24T or the R23T, for example, in Russia, and I see a lot of Americans just going straight into the target. So for American mains, my advice is to notch and try to evade the missile before it hits you. So try to fire your missile and try to notch. If you see that the missile is faster than you, if you see, for example, that the enemy fired the missile before you, just evade the missile. Okay, just don't maintain the lock. Just try to evade the missile. Your being alive in the match is way more important than losing a missile that you already fired. As you see on one example of a very close call that I got a kill there. And for Russian mains, my advice is to use the R24 as I show it on this video. So climb, try to notch as well to maintain the defensive position, but try to maintain the lock using the radar screen on the right, and you will be fine. Okay, the R23R is a very capable missile right now, especially because of the American not evading. So yeah, try to use them as I show it on the video. Okay, so I see you guys on the next one, and bye. Leave it in the comments what else you want to see, and subscribe.